Hi, and welcome back to Conservation Kids. Today we're at Robert Edmonson Conservation Area. Let's find out what our next question is going to be.
Hello, my name is Sophia and I want to know why poison ivy makes you itchy.
We're here today at Robert Edmonson Conservation Area to find out just why poison ivy makes you itchy. Professor Turkey Vulture, do you know why poison ivy makes you itchy?
Because little tiny elves jump onto your skin and start biting you.
Because there's a chemical in it.
Wow, those were some great guesses. Now let's go find our expert. It's time to go look for Brenna the park protector. I think she'll know why poison ivy makes you itchy.
Everyone wants to know why poison ivy makes people so itchy and how to find it. Poison ivy is related to cashews, and just like nuts, people can be allergic to poison ivy. And it's actually the sap in the plant that people are allergic to. It's called urushiol, and you can find that in the roots and in the leaves and in the stem through the whole plant. So when somebody who's allergic to that oil touches the plant, they break out in an itchy, pussy rash. But not everybody. Some people aren't allergic to urushiol at all, and they can go and walk right through a bed of poison ivy and they won't break out in a rash. But some people are so allergic to it that even if their dog runs through a patch of poison ivy, and then that person reaches their arms around and pets their dog, they're going to get poison ivy oil on their arms and they'll break out in that rash without ever having to touch the plant. So Professor TV, people always ask, how do I avoid getting poison ivy? And the best way to avoid it is to know what you're looking for. So if we were out in the woods and we happen to find some poison ivy, and look, we've got some right here. Poison ivy is a little distinctive. So if we take a look here, and I'm not going to touch it because I don't want the rash myself. We've got 1, 2, 3 leaves, and they're all joined together in a single stem. Okay, so no other leaves on the stem. And this middle leaf is on a longer stem than the 2 on the side. So that's what I always look for, is that middle leaf on the longer stem than the 2 on the side. That's my favorite way of telling poison ivy. The other thing that you can look for is along the edges. You see how it's got these kind of irregular bumps, Professor TV? So these irregular bumps, you don't find those on other plants. Most plants are a little tidier. They've got sort of a regular pattern, but poison ivy is a little messy looking. Sometimes it's got bumps and sometimes it doesn't. So if you're unsure, the very best way to protect yourself from poison ivy is to stay on the trail and keep your dog on a leash. And that way we can share the trail with all the plants and animals that also need to live here. Poison ivy is the original park protector. It keeps people on the trail, so there's lots of space for plants and animals.
You wanted to know why poison ivy makes you itchy. We found out that poison ivy contains an oil on all parts of the plant, and that it's this oil that can cause some people to break out in a rash, but that not everyone is actually allergic. Poison ivy, however, is an important plant that makes sure sand dunes are strong and stable near beaches, so it's not all bad. Thanks for helping us itch towards the answer, Brenna the park protector, and thanks, of course, to Professor Turkey Vulture. Ooh, yikes. Did you touch some? And now it's time for a Conservation Kids tip. When you're out enjoying nature, don't pick flowers or try and remove plants like poison ivy. Poison ivy, as we've heard, may be bad for some people, but it's an important part of the environment, just like mosquitoes are. Annoying, but important. Animals like deer and some birds eat poison ivy, or even its berries. So even plants that make some of us really itchy have a role to play in the forest as someone's lunch. Thanks for watching Conservation Kids.